Hello there, I'm right here. Today we are going to be continuing with the basics of graphic designing using Corel Suite X7. Stay with me. Alright, we're going to be looking at object selection and grouping. Alright, so I have some illustration right here on the screen that I just did a little design so that I can walk us through the object selection and grouping in Corel Suite X7. Alright, let's start with object selection. Alright, normally, as you already know in the previous video, that objects are selected using the pick tool. Alright, the pick tool also helps you to group objects. So let's start with object selection. What can you do when you want to select any object? It's very simple, as the name implies. Just click on the object and it's selected. Alright, if I click here, I can select the leg of this table. Click here, I can select the leg of this one too. If I click here, I can select the screen of this monitor. Alright, now let's say I want to select more objects. Alright, on this page, what do I do? Okay, you can either use the marquee or, alright, let's first do this. If I select this leg and I want to select this other leg at the same time, what you do is hold on the shift key. When you hold on the shift key, you click. Alright, it's showing you that these two objects are selected. Now, if I want to select another one, still hold on the shift key and click on it. Alright, I've selected the top of this table. Now, how do I know the objects that are selected right here? Okay, so there's something you can call the selection node. You can see them here. See, shows node. See, shows node here. It's also shown here. So that is a little way to know the objects that you selected. It shows the nodes on it. So if I hold on shift key again and this, I can deselect this object. Alright, now you see the node has disappeared. So meaning this object is no more selected. I can deselect this one, hold on the shift key again, then click on it. So the only selection here is now the top of this table. One thing else you can do to select multiple objects, alright? So let's use these books as an example, alright? So if I click once, you can see I've selected only the red book because that's the only place the node is showing. One other way I can use to select multiple objects is by using the mark key. Alright, so if I click, there's something else I don't want to select there, so let me be careful here. If I click and drag and encompass this book, I select everything. So let me zoom in here. You can see the notes. There are notes on all the selected objects right here. Okay, so either you select them one after the other or you use the mark key to select. Alright, let's say I want to select these two legs without clicking on it. I can use the mark key and encompass the legs of the table. Now I selected two of them. Alright, now this is the front selection by shift key by clicking on the objects. There's something else you can do to select any object. Rather than clicking or encompassing, you can hold on the Alt key. Once you hold on the Alt key, okay, let me use this place. Once you hold the Alt key and use the mark key, it selects every object that the mark key touches. Once you're holding the Alt key down, you can select every object that the mark key touches. Alright, so now you can see the notes here. Selected this red book, the pink or whatever the color is, and the green and the close to white book. I don't really know what that color is. Looks like light gray. So you see the mark key touched the top of this table and all of the books. So it has selected all of it. Alright, let me do it here. If I hold down the Alt key and use the mark key, click and drag across, not encompassing the legs of the table, the two legs. Sorry, let's do that again. See, select the two legs of the table. Okay, one other thing I'll have to show you here. You can click once to select one object. You can hold the shift key to select multiple objects. You can also hold the shift key to deselect any object you don't want to select. Alright, so now you can hold down the Alt key to select any object the mark key touches, and you can use the mark key and encompass any object, all the objects you want to select, and it selects them. Alright, so how do you know a selected object? By the selection node that shows on it. So this is the selection node, this is the selection node. Now, there's something else I would like to show us here. You can notice there's an object behind this book right here. Okay, so how do I select an object behind this book and not selecting the books? Okay, so what you have to do is hold on the Alt key. Once you hold on the Alt key, then you click on the object. Now, once you click on the object, to move the object, you can hold on the center point. All right, this move icon that is showing a multiplication sign, you can hold on it, click and hold and drag the object out. So this is the object behind that place. I'm going to take it back again. All right, so I can still select with the previous method I showed you before. Hold down your Alt key and use your mark key to touch all the objects you want to. So I want to move these books, only the books, without moving that socket that is behind the book. So I've selected only the books so I can move them. Now you see this socket behind the book. All right, so taking it back. Those are the basic things you need to really know about selecting objects. Okay, so now let's talk about grouping objects. When it comes to grouping objects, there are so many things involved. Let's say as the leg of this table is, these two legs are, you might want to group them so that anytime you move it, it moves with both of them. You might want to group it with the top of the table. All right, so if I want to group these two legs right now, I can click on one, hold on the shift key, click on the other. Now what do? I can right click on one of them, then go to group. All right, group objects, which is Control G. So if I click on group, it groups it. So if I move this object now, both of them moves at the same time. All right, so I'm going to take it back, and to ungroup it, I can hover over one of the objects, then click on undo group, which is Control Z, which is an undo of most of the actions you do in any software, almost every software. Okay, so I've undone it. So if I click here now, you see they are now independent of each of themselves. All right, so if I want to group it back, select both of them, hold on shift key, then click on Control and plus G. That's a shortcut for grouping. Now I want to add the top of this table. I can hold on the shift key, click on it, then either I hover on one of the objects and right click to go to group objects, or I just do Control G, groups all the objects. So if I move this table now, every component of the table moves with it. All right, you can see that. So take it back. So that is how you group objects. All right, so one other thing you need to know about grouping. So I'm going to group ungroup right now. I've ungrouped. All right, so if this table components are not grouped, and let's say I want to center them in the same place. So if I click all of them, I select all of them, then I press on P to center it to the page. All right, you see it made a mess of a table. Okay, it tries to align each of the components to the center of the page. I'm going to undo that right now, but if we group it, Control G, and center it to the page, now it leaves every component at the same separation point that it was, and centers all of them still intact as a table. All right, so I'm going to undo that action. So let's try it out with these books right now. Okay, so if I select all these books without grouping them, hold on Alt, because I don't want to select the one at the back, Alt, then use the mark key. All right, selected the three of them. Now if I center it to the page by clicking on P, you see all the books have been centered. They are actually layered behind each other. So if I move this one, okay, let me deselect. If I move this one, I see the next one. If I move this one, I see the next one. That's not actually what we want, so I'm going to go back, then group it with Control G. So if I center it with the letter P, so it moves all of them. All the components are still intact and they are grouped. All right, so you can group so many things and move them at the same time without making a mess of what you set up already. All right, one more thing I'm going to tell us about page selection and grouping. If I click on this place, you'll notice something. Okay, I'm going to right click Now, as you can see, this background, I have a background right here, an object which is a background, I have it here. So if you notice, if I left click, I cannot select this object, and it's a cool selection feature that you can use. So no matter what I do here, I can't accidentally select this object. I can use my marquee. So what did I do so that I cannot select this object? It's called locking the object. So if I right click, I can unlock this object right now. So I can select it. Let me color it. All right, you see the object right now. So I can now select it. If I try to use the marquee by clicking and dragging, instead of the marquee coming out, it's now moving the object, which is not what I want. So I'm going to take it back, then lock it. To lock it, you right click, go to lock object. So this allows you to work inside your page without selecting unnecessary objects. You can lock any object on this page right now and it won't be selectable no matter what you do. Even you can't even change the color of the object. So if I try to change the color right now, it wouldn't work because it's locked. Now it's seeing it as nothing. There's nothing there. All right, so I can use my marquee and select any other object I want to select. Okay, so now something else you need to note is that as I've selected using the marquee, it's showing you how many objects that are selected on the layer, which is 2 objects selected on the layer. Okay, so if I select this one, hold up my, let me zoom in here, hold on my alt key and select, it's showing that the objects are grouped and there are 4 objects on that layer that are selected. So it's showing it below here. So that is one of the cool things you can use so that you don't make a mess of any object you don't want to select. All right, you have a flexibility of locking that object. You can lock any object, anything you want to lock. I can lock, like these ones are locked. I wouldn't be able to select them or move them around accidentally. So they are locked there and locked forever. I cannot accidentally move it, all right, because they are locked. And that's the way it's gonna be. I'm going to take this back. All right, if you found this video interesting and helpful, I'd like you to give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe right now. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, do it right now and hit the bell button, okay, so that you get notifications of subsequent videos that we'll be sending out anytime we do. Alright guys, see you in the next video.